Now, I know some of you are thinking it, and some of you are going to say it in the comments. Yes, my face is very red. I got sunburned. This is what happens when you're an extra in a television show. You get the sun all up in my face, basically. So yes, I'm sunburnt. But I usually have red, rosy cheeks, so sorry if my face ruins this review for you for Fantastic Four. But, man, I really got sunburned. The Fantastic Four First Step stars Pedro Pascal, and it's about the Fantastic Four must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus. From director Matt Shakman, a man who directed so many episodes of television, but is mainly known for directing every episode of WandaVision, we're now talking the brand new movie, The Fantastic Four. So this is like the fifth Fantastic movie to ever come out. Obviously, the one from the 90s is like garbage. The mid-2000s, those two movies I grew up with, I have nostalgia for. Then in 2015, we do not talk about Fant Four Stick. What a disgrace. So now, 10 years later, we are finally getting the Fantastic Four introduced in the MCU, and I know superhero fatigue is all over the place, and Marvel's gone downhill, and heck, I barely review any of the TV shows anymore, which, by the way, I've watched all of them. I continue to watch them. I like Marvel. I really enjoyed Thunderbolts, and after that movie, I was like, all right, I'm intrigued to see where Fantastic Four goes. I like the trailers, but again, in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? I am a little superhero fatigued. Then you give me this movie. This was a good superhero movie. This was truly, like, I don't want to be that quote and everything that a lot of people say, but it's the truth. This is one of the best Marvel movies to come out in quite a while. Like, I really enjoyed Thunderbolts a lot. I like this more than Thunderbolts. And before any of you get in the comments, yes, I liked it more than Superman. So let's go ahead and get straight to the positives. First things first, this movie felt like its own movie. Thunderbolts had a big positive for me because it was like, it felt like its own story with its own characters. And then at the very end, it has little lingering thoughts into the future of the MCU. This movie is literally like a standalone movie. Like, there's a couple little Easter eggs out the movie that I noticed, but anyone I truly think can go and watch this movie and not be confused until the mid-credit scene. Everything about this movie felt like its own story, and we get a great introduction to MCU's first family, the Fantastic Four. Obviously, Pedro Pascal, he's everywhere, I get it, but he was really good as Reed Richards. I love the take that he did with this movie, making him the smartest person in the room, and his character knows it. He can't build a baby crib, but he can build entire scientific buildings and machines and everything, and this character really is struggling with that. And I love how it's kind of like a slight issue until a certain moment in the movie between him and Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm. I thought she was very good. She definitely is like the heart of this family because of what the main plot is about. Then you got Ebon Moss, who's playing the Thing. I really enjoyed this version of the Thing. It is a version you've seen before where he's hiding a little bit of like, yeah, he is a rock man. He is only seen as that now. His humanity is a little bit gone, but he is still a person deep down. They don't really touch on it like a lot from the mid-2000s movie, but it's definitely shown in this movie like, hey, you can tell it's hurting him. But I enjoyed his presence. Joseph Quinn, Johnny Storm, very funny, very much exactly what the character was supposed to be, and the four of them worked together very well. Seriously, I enjoyed all their introductions, I enjoyed all their characters. It felt like a team, and more importantly, it felt like a family, and that truly is like what this movie should be, because the movie's deep down message is family. Earth needs to come together because Galactus is coming, and man oh man, they did a freaking awesome job with Galactus. Now, I am not a diehard Fantastic Four fan, but in the 2000s, I grew up with those two movies, and those movies were my introduction to those characters, and growing up, I learned how important they were to the Marvel Universe, so it's kind of crazy that we're finally getting these characters in the MCU after like 20, 30 plus movies and 50 plus content. So for them to finally be introduced, and to get Galactus, not as a cloud this time, I loved what they did Galactus. He felt menacing. He felt big. It helped that I watched this in IMAX, but it was awesome. I can't say the guy's name's Ralph Ineson. I know him from The Witch. He's been in a couple things, but his voice as Galactus, when he was cast, I was like, that's perfect. And seeing it, I was like, that's perfect. I loved everything they did with Galactus. And the one thing that shocked me, Julia Garner as our Silver Surfer. As Shala Bal, I really enjoyed this interpretation. I really liked a certain scene. I did not expect me to hit in the feels a little bit. I was like, oh. And they give a great character about the Silver Surfer, her character, and the importance of what she has with Galactus. I loved everything they did with all of our major characters, the Fantastic Four, our villain, our side villain, / working for the villain. It all really worked because the movie had focus. It was the 1960s, like futuristic, which I really liked. The look of this movie, the colors, the production value, the CGI for like 90% of it was really good in my opinion. There's going to be shots of this movie people are going to put on Twitter and be like, this is why the MCU is sucking, from like one still image of a movie. Because there's a few parts of this movie the CGI is not great, involving CGI baby and the Thing holding the CGI baby. Every time that happened, I was like, yeah, that is CGI. So, again, people are going to complain about that, but for the most part, this is one of the best looking movies from the MCU. And I said the same thing about Thunderbolts. This movie might even be better looking in my opinion. I loved the musical score. I loved all the intense action scenes. And there's not a ton of action in this movie, but the movie does a really good job of just introducing this world, these characters, and just showing how these characters are really important to this 1960s world. Like, the world looks up to the Fantastic Four. So when this world is now in danger and a certain deal is made, it actually brings a lot of like depth to our characters. It's like, oh, like, yes, the end of the world is the main plot. Yeah, I gotta defeat the bad guy. But there's something in this story that's like, this makes it more interesting and stand out than any other superhero movie. I appreciate that. Again, the movie runs through your basics. Like, the movie, and for the most part, I would say is very predictable. I feel like people who aren't major fans of Fantastic Four, like, I'm not a major fan, but I know a lot about the character of Franklin. Again, I don't want to go too deep in spoilers about Franklin, but this character is very important to the future of the MCU, in my opinion. And I feel like they did a really good job introducing this character and giving it the time needed, while also being an introduction to the Fantastic Four. And overall, like, I really enjoyed it. And I will say, people always complain about MCU comedy. This movie, in my opinion, had some of the best balance. Like, a prime example, Superman went for a lot of jokes. This movie has serious moments. It lets moments breathe. It actually has care to characters and moments. Then there's a few jokes, whatever, and those jokes really worked. I thought the funniest part was actually the last joke in the movie before the credits even start. That joke was the funniest thing to me. But overall, I would say I enjoyed the characters, the world, the story. Everything for the most part was really enjoyable. This movie just felt like its own story. That's what MCU needs to do. Make your characters, make your story, make a good-looking movie, put some love into the movie. Don't give us Quantumania, give us Thunderbolts, something different, something unique, something that's about these characters. Fantastic Four, introduce them, give us their backgrounds, give us these characters. My goodness, Superman just had this issue with me. It starts off with, you already know Superman. This movie's the same way, but on a mixed level, the first 5 minutes is basically a TV station explaining their entire origin story, which was a little fast-paced, whatever, but the movie gives you at least 20 to 30 minutes before anything major happens. You introduce the world, you introduce these characters to the world, and then the plot kicks in. Superman was like, plot kicks in right now. You know nothing, you should know everything. This movie is like, hey, here's your world, here's your characters, now let's bring in Galactus. Again, my only major issue, honestly, and it's not even like a big issue, some CGI effects involving the CGI baby, but I will say, I felt like this movie could have been 20 minutes longer. Everything was very quick. It has a really good pace to it. It's only an hour and 55 minutes, but like, some certain things I feel like could have a little more merit to it. There's certain characters like the Thing, he deals with a he's walking around the neighborhood and there's a certain character he talks to, and they build a little bit of relationship in that one scene. Then there's one other scene in the movie, and that's it. I feel like if you give me like a little more time with The Thing, or with like Johnny Storm, how he has a little bit of a crush on Julia Garner's character, they treat it more like a joke, but I feel like when certain things are revealed, there could have been actually a really good depth moment there before our big third act happened. So I feel like this movie could have been like 15 minutes more longer just to flesh out a few more little plot points. And I feel like this world would have just had more depth to its background characters, not just our main characters. It helps fleshing out the world, in my opinion. But that's just me. But that's literally my only issue. The movie, I wish, was a little bit longer. That's a good negative to have, in my opinion. So in the end, Fantastic Four was shocking to me. I did not think it was going to be this good. I was looking forward to it, but I truly will say this is one of the best MC movies to come out in recent years. I'm going to give the Fantastic Four First Steps an A-. And yes, there is 2 end credit scenes, one in the middle, one at the very end. Stay for the one in the middle. My crowd went like that. So yeah, for me personally, I was like, I expected that, but it was still cool to like see it come to life. The second end credit scene, the one at the end of the credits, you can honestly skip. It really, like, it's a joke, but it's not really a joke. It's kind of just a clever little like, like, there you go. Like, it really, like, you don't have to watch the second end credit scene. I promise you. Like, if you wanted to leave, you can go ahead and leave. But that middle one, that's the one you're going to get 30 plus videos saying, explained, who is that, what is this, what's going on, Avengers Doomsday, where are you at, kind of thing, like that. Yeah, so anyway guys, hope you guys enjoyed this movie review. What did you think about it? What has been your favorite recent Marvel movie post 2020? Because I know, like, that's kind of like when everything changed, so let me know down below. Anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed this movie review, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye everybody.